Hey guys, it's Maggie, and today I am going to show you something new. I had a couple people who asked to see some of the resources that I talked about that I like to use in my classroom in one of my videos, and so I thought that I could start with Grammarly. So let me go ahead and start by saying Grammarly is a service that is both free and paid. And what that means is there is a free version, which means that you will get some of the features, but not all of them. And then there also is a paid version where you get all the features. I had my students, when I was teaching journalism, use the free version. I also have all of my classes install Grammarly on their laptops because my school is a one-to-one. And they can use Grammarly and it will check a lot of things. It will not check everything, but it will check a lot of things. I'm going to show you the premium edition, the paid edition, because obviously that's what I have. And this is pretty much how it works. So Grammarly is I'm trying to think of how to word this. It is for spelling, it is for grammar, it is for punctuation, it is for plagiarism, it is for writing. I love it. Teachers at my school love it. The students love it. And so let me just show you how it works. So you can install it as an app on Chrome, which obviously you can see that I have here. And then all you have to do is, if you have a document, you can upload it. And so let me click new. And you can either type into this or you can upload something. So let's say, for instance, a kid was typing in and this is what they typed. So obviously their there is wrong and it is going to pop up with this. So if I click on this, it automatically tells me that I'm using the wrong there. And this is what I love about Grammarly. It is going to tell you not only what you need to fix, but also why. And if I click more, like I just did, it gives you this long explanation of why you're using the wrong there and some examples. This is priceless because I don't know how many times, and I'm very guilty of this, where a kid will say, well, why do I need to do that? And I'll say, just because. This gives them the reason and this can answer that question. Now, sometimes it's going to be wrong, just like it can be in Word or Pages. However, I will say this definitely catches, I would say, 50% to 80% more than Microsoft Word or Pages does. And if I need to change it, all I have to do is click on it. It replaces the word. I can easily undo it if I need to. So, another cool feature is when you get premium, you can put in what type of document it is. So, for instance, I can go to academic and I can click essay, which means that my students, it's going to be grading it for essay. It also has things like business, technical, medical, creative, and then just a casual. You also can tell it what you want it to check. So, for instance, if you didn't want it to check for style, so this says like it's checking for redundancy and wordiness, sentence structure, punctuation, grammar, and then spelling. You can turn those off if you want to. So if I didn't want it to check spelling, I could turn it off very easily. Another thing is I can click this so it will check for plagiarism. And what it will do is it will compare the article to other articles and things it's finding online. I use this a lot with my kids so that they can see if they have citations in the right places. If it underlines something and says it's plagiarized, I said you better make sure you have a citation. So that's a good way for them to back up and check. It's also an easy way for you to check and see if something has been plagiarized. It also will automatically link you to the place on the internet where that is being used. Another thing that you get in Premium is vocabulary enhancement, and it will give you some suggestions of things. So, for instance, if I was saying the word pretty a lot, it might underline it and give me some different ways to say pretty. It also has this feature where it says that you can send it to a professional proofreader. I've never used this before, so I don't know how that works, but I mean, it's on here, and that's definitely a premium feature. So what we're going to do now is I want to show you the features kind of in action. Okay, so I've got an essay. I will say that this one is pretty dang bad. I just pulled it off the internet randomly, just so you could see an example. I am going to turn all of the features on. I also am going to put in that it is an essay, just because I think that it's going to show you some things that are more like formal. I'm also going to turn on plagiarism, just because we'll see. And vocabulary enhancement's also on. Okay, so let's get started. So the very first thing is, obviously, I just pulled this offline, and so it's obviously telling me that this entire thing has been plagiarized. So all I had to do to check that was see that the whole thing's underlined. I click on it, and if I click on this, it immediately takes it to where I literally just copied and pasted it from. So that's really good. Now, normally it's not going to be the whole paper, but if you did happen to have a kid who decided that they were going to copy a whole paper, it's going to show up really easily. Now, since this is highlighting the whole thing, it's kind of in our way, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore it and turn plagiarism off because I know that it's 100% plagiarized. Okay, so let's kind of go through these. I'll just show you kind of how it's working. So duplicate pronouns is one thing. So it's saying you're saying it and you, so you may want to rewrite the phrase. So that's one that it's not going to let me just click on it and change it. I'm going to have to go in and change it myself. Let's see. I can't even read this. I remember my mom telling me this. So this is supposed to be if you find, so this one obviously is not correct, so I can say ignore, and because this is supposed to be yourself. And this says in the bad situation or a bad. All I have to do is click on it. Don't forget your smile. So this one is telling you that you need to put your period inside your quotation marks, which is something I know, at least I say a million times. Okay, mint is spelled wrong. Change that. It thinks think needs to be thinks. And sometimes if something's really messed up, it might give you two suggestions like here. So this one says, for an example, they think that it might sound a little bit better if you just said, for example. So sometimes it's going to pick out some wordiness. People is spelled wrong, we'll change it. Convince is spelled wrong, we'll change it. Okay, very bad. So it's telling you that bad is a weak adjective, which is nice. So I can just click on one of these, like I can say terrible. Also for the explanation, it's saying, you don't want to use very, extremely, totally, really. So let's say horrible. Jokes is spelled wrong. Let's see what this one says. Okay, passive voice. Which God knows this is so hard to explain to kids, and sometimes I can't even explain it well. So it even gives you the examples down here for passive and active, so that is really awesome. Again, excuse me, it's one of the ones that you're going to have to go in, they have to go in and change it. They can't just click on it and have it change it. Let's look at one of these. So here's an unclear antecedent. It's saying, what does this refer to? This is another thing that's really good. for the kids to see. Up here we had a sentence fragment. This is a possibly confused word. It thinks you meant is instead of it, which is correct. And now it's telling me that we're using the word positive more than we should. So it's going to give you another option. So what you'll see is as you're going through this, we have all these features down here. So this tells me I have 195 words in this, which is good for the kids to see. It also is going to tell me how many issues I've having. Now, I've fixed a lot of them, but if I click here, it's going to give me a score. So it says I need to go back to work, which obviously this was really bad. It's going to show me where a lot of my errors are. And it's going to tell me how many it thinks I need. The cool thing about this, I can click download detailed report, and then I can click on this and pull it up. And what you'll see is it's going to download the actual essay with all the little markings on it, which means that I can print this out and give it to the kids. Now, it's not going to give the long explanations, and they'll have to go in and type it, but sometimes in a pinch, it is really helpful. I have my kids turn this into me a lot of times before it's time for them to turn in their essays. So if I go back to the home page, you'll see now that essay is saved on here, and I can either fix more things, or I can download it, or I can delete it. And so that makes it so that I actually went and deleted all my essays, but I did have every single essay that I've ever graded with my kids on here. So that's it. I hope that you kind of see how helpful this can be in your classroom. Again, I do have the premium account, but I would suggest even downloading the free account. Also, something really cool about Grammarly is if I am typing onto, let's say, Facebook or my email or on my school website, it is going to correct my grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Just as if I was typing in Word or Pages, it's going to do that for me. And it does it automatically. If you have the version that is installed as an app right here on your Chrome. I think it also might do it for, it says for OS X on your desktop, but I've never been able to get it to work good. So hopefully you can use this in your classroom. I get all my kids to download it, and it helps them a lot. It helps me a lot. It saves me a lot of grief. So let me know if you think this is a really good resource to use in your classroom, and I hope that you get to use it soon. Bye.